There's a kind of presence that speaks without speaking. No loud entrances, no performance. Just quiet confidence, subtle strength, a calm that draws people in. It's not about charm or charisma. It's not even about being liked. It's about being grounded, so deeply rooted in who you are that your energy does the talking. Even in silence, you've probably met someone like that. They walk into a room and everything shifts. They don't have to say much. They just are. This video is about becoming that, but not in the way you might expect. So before we go deeper, don't skim through this. Each of these habits builds on the last. Together they form a kind of internal architecture. Miss one and the whole frame weakens. Take your time with it. Let this land where it needs to. And if something in here resonates, consider staying connected. This space isn't about trends or noise. It's a quiet corner on the internet where we grow, reflect, and return to ourselves. You see, silent attraction isn't about being mysterious for the sake of it. It's about inner order, self-respect, peace. And in a noisy world, that kind of energy is magnetic. Stick with me, because habit number 9, it shifted something in me I didn't even know was off. And I promise, if you stay till the end, you'll walk away feeling just a bit more clear. 1. They pause before they speak. Silence isn't awkward, it's powerful. One of the most disarming things someone can do is nothing at all. Not the kind of nothing that's rooted in avoidance or fear, but a stillness, a sacred pause, a moment of breath before the response. We live in a world that rewards quick comebacks, fast opinions, snappy sound bites. But the most quietly powerful people I've ever met, they take their time. You ask them a question, and they don't rush to answer. They sit with it. They let it land. They consider instead of perform. And when they finally speak, it feels like their words mean something. Silence makes a lot of people uncomfortable. We've been taught to fill the gaps, to say something, anything, just to avoid that tension. But here's the truth. That tension, that silence, it's not emptiness. It's space. It's awareness. It's power. People who pause before they speak, they're not just being thoughtful. They're training their nervous system to respond, not react. They're not ruled by urgency. They've made peace with their own rhythm. There's a difference between hearing someone and actually listening. There's a difference between responding and just waiting for your turn to talk. When you speak without pausing, you're often speaking from habit, from ego, from fear, from assumption. But when you pause, you're giving yourself permission to feel first, to understand, to choose what energy you bring into the room. And that choice, that's presence, that's awareness, that's control. Ask yourself, how often do you speak to respond instead of to understand? How often do you rush to be right instead of resting in what's true? Can you sit in the silence and still feel okay? Because here's the deeper truth. Your silence can hold more wisdom than someone else's speech. The pause isn't weakness. It's not delay. It's not hesitation. It's discipline. It's the moment where you catch yourself before the ego takes the wheel. It's where you choose patience over pride, understanding over assumption, stillness over performance. And in that space, people feel something they rarely feel in conversation. They feel respected. They feel safe because they can tell you're not just talking to be heard. You're talking to connect. And that kind of connection, people sense it, even before you speak, because your energy walks into the room before your words ever do. Which brings us to the next habit, one you carry with you at all times. without saying a word. 2. They move with intention. Your body language whispers what your mouth doesn't say. There's something quietly magnetic about a person who doesn't rush. They're not in a hurry to prove, to please, to escape. They walk like they own their time. They move like their presence matters. And you feel it, even before they speak a word. Most of us are moving fast, but we're not really going anywhere. We hurry through our routines, run from one obligation to the next, not because we have to, but because stillness feels unfamiliar. We're conditioned to think that speed equals success, that slowing down is laziness, that rest must be earned. But the people who move with intention, they challenge that idea. Without saying a word, it's not just about walking slowly, it's about how you inhabit your body. Are you fidgeting, rushing, multitasking your way through every moment? Or are you there, in it? Do your movements say, "I'm not in control," or do they say, "I know exactly who I am, and I don't need to prove it"? Someone who moves with intention sends a message without ever speaking. They're saying, "I'm not afraid of this moment. I don't need to rush to feel worthy. I trust myself enough to move slowly." And that kind of energy, it doesn't chase validation, it draws respect. So ask yourself, are you rushing through life, or are you inhabiting your moments? Are your movements reactive or reflective? Do you walk like the world is dragging you, or like you've chosen to be exactly where you are? Because every gesture, every glance, every breath is either a reaction to chaos or a return to presence. Moving with intention doesn't mean you're slow. It means you're aware. It means you're not owned by urgency. You're not led by anxiety. You're guided by something quieter, deeper. And that kind of presence, it's rare, which is why it's so attractive. But presence isn't just something you feel in the body. It's something you carry in your mind. And the next habit? It's about mastering the one thing most people let run wild: their focus. Here's 3. They're comfortable with eye contact and comfortable breaking. Its social confidence isn't staring. It's knowing when to look and when to release. There's something powerful about being seen, and something even more powerful about being willing to see. Eye contact, real, intentional eye contact, is one of the most quietly courageous things we can do. It says, "I'm not hiding. I'm here with you. I'm not afraid to be witnessed." But here's the truth most people miss. It's not about staring. That's not presence. That's performance, control, discomfort in disguise. The people who are silently attractive, they know how to meet your eyes, not hold them hostage. They don't use eye contact to dominate. They use it to connect, then release it without fear. They don't flinch when your eyes meet theirs, but they also don't cling to the moment. They let it breathe, because connection isn't something they force, it's something they honor. You can feel the difference. Someone trying to prove they're confident will lock in and refuse to look away. But someone at ease with themselves, they can hold your gaze, then let it go. And when they return it, it feels like an invitation, not a performance. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you really looked at someone and let them look back? No agenda, no defensiveness, no masks, just presence, stillness, mutual humanness. It's uncomfortable at first, but it's one of the most magnetic things you can offer. Because in a world full of surface interaction, eye contact says, "I see you." When you're comfortable with looking and with looking away, you're not chasing validation. You're not playing games. You're not performing for acceptance. You're simply there. And that energy, it makes people lean in. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because they feel safe around you, because they feel seen. And speaking of connection, the next habit protects it fiercely. It's about a boundary most people avoid. But without it, connection fades, energy drains, and presence gets scattered. Let's talk about that next. 4. They honor their boundaries. Without apology, saying no is a quiet form of self-worth. Not every yes is generous. Sometimes it's just avoidance. Avoiding conflict, avoiding guilt, avoiding the discomfort of disappointing someone. But silently attractive people, they know how to sit with that discomfort because they've realized something. If I abandon myself to keep others comfortable, I lose the very energy that made me magnetic in the first place. They don't explain for too long. They don't over-justify their decisions. They don't say yes when their heart is saying no, because they understand. Their time, their energy, their presence, those are sacred currencies. And if they give them away too freely, they lose their center. Let me ask you, where in your life are you overextending just to be accepted? Where are you saying yes while your inner voice whispers, not again? It doesn't make you more loving. It makes you more depleted. And the truth is, you don't have to apologize for choosing rest, or solitude, or alignment. Saying no isn't rejection, it's redirection toward what truly matters. People who respect themselves teach others how to do the same, not by pushing, but by simply holding their line with softness, with clarity, without noise. And here's the deeper truth. Real connection, the kind that lasts, requires space too, which leads us to the next habit. It's about energy, where it goes, who gets it, and how to protect it without ever saying a word. 5. They listen more than they talk. Deep presence is felt in stillness, not sound. There's a kind of listening that doesn't need head nods or constant uh-huhs. It's quieter than that. It's stiller than that. It's presence, deep, open, and without agenda. The silently attractive, they carry that presence. They don't fill every pause. They don't rush to speak. They hold space like it matters because it does. When someone feels truly listened to, without being judged or fixed, they feel seen. And that feeling, it's magnetic. Because in a world addicted to noise and advice, being seen without interruption is rare and healing. Think about the last time someone shared something vulnerable with you. Did you offer space or a solution? Did you listen to understand or just wait for your turn to speak? True listening isn't about the ears. It's about the heart. It says, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to sit with you in this moment as you are. Silently attractive people know not every silence needs to be filled. Not every wound needs words. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is absolutely nothing at all. But this next habit, it might be the most underestimated source of attraction. It has nothing to do with what you say, and everything to do with what you see. 6. They take care of themselves without seeking attention. Self-respect is magnetic, especially when it's quiet. There's something deeply powerful about a person who shows up for themselves and doesn't need applause for it. They eat well. They move their body. They keep their space clean. Not because it's trendy, but because it's respectful to themselves, to their energy, to the life they're building. They don't post every gym session. They don't announce every fast or meditation streak. They just live it quietly, consistently. Because for them, discipline isn't performance. It's sacred. Is your discipline something the world needs to see? Or is it something you quietly honor within? Sometimes the most silently attractive thing you can do is take care of yourself when no one's watching. And yet, don't mistake that solitude for isolation, because the silently attractive, they know how to be alone, but they also know how to connect deeply. Let's talk about that next. 7. They're kind, but they don't chase approval. Kindness without self-abandonment is rare and radiant. There's a softness and real strength, a grounded grace in someone who's kind, but not for show. Silently attractive people, they don't wear kindness like a costume. They don't need the camera on or the spotlight turned up. Their kindness doesn't beg. It doesn't chase after applause. It simply is. See, a lot of people confuse approval with connection. They'll smile so they're liked. They'll say yes when they mean no. They'll soften every edge of themselves just to be more palatable. But the silently attractive, they know that kindness without boundaries isn't kindness. It's self-abandonment in disguise. You can be kind without being small. You can care without collapsing your truth. You can help others without losing yourself in the process. That balance, that internal alignment, it's rare and it's radiant, because the silently attractive don't need to be liked by everyone. They're kind even when no one's watching, but they don't twist themselves to be chosen. Their kindness is deliberate, it's real, and it doesn't cost them their peace. So ask yourself gently, can you still be kind, even when it's not returned? Can you let go of needing to be seen as good and simply be grounded in what's right for you? That's the kind of kindness that lingers. Not flashy, not loud, but deeply human. And yet, here's what most people miss. Being silently attractive isn't just about how you treat others. It's also about how you treat yourself, especially in the hard moments. Because real magnetism, it's in how you recover. Let's explore that next. 8. They don't panic when they mess up. Silent confidence includes grace, not just control. We've been taught that confidence is control. Perfect posture, perfect timing, perfect words. But the silently attractive, they know real confidence lives in what happens after the stumble. They don't tense up when they're wrong. They don't unravel when things fall apart. They breathe. They stay. They repair. It's easy to look composed when everything is going well. But when you mess up, when you forget, fall short, or say the wrong thing, that's when grace speaks louder than control ever could. The silently attractive don't pretend they're perfect. They just refuse to abandon themselves when they're not. That's what makes them magnetic. Not flawlessness, but presence in the face of flaws. So let me ask you, how do you treat yourself when you're not at your best? Do you hold yourself with the same patience you offer to others? Or do you panic, hide, and turn against your own heart? Because the people who stay grounded when they fall are the ones others feel safest around. Which brings me to one of the deepest habits of all, one you don't always see, but you feel it the moment you're near them. 9. They are deeply okay with being alone. Solitude sharpens your soul. There's a kind of strength that doesn't shout, it whispers. The silently attractive know how to be alone and truly be okay with it. This isn't loneliness. It's not isolation or escape. It's fullness, a soul sharpened by silence, not dulled by it. In a world that never stops talking, never stops scrolling, never stops needing, choosing solitude feels radical because it means you don't need constant validation. You're not afraid of the quiet because you found something deeper within. This kind of solitude grounds you. It's a reset button for the soul. It gives you clarity about who you really are, beyond roles, expectations, and noise. So gently ask yourself, can you sit in silence and still feel whole? Can you be with yourself without needing to fill the space with distraction or approval? If you can, that quiet strength will ripple outward. People will sense it, not because you're loud, but because you're complete. But even in solitude, the silently attractive aren't closed off. In fact, their openness is what makes them truly magnetic. 10. They speak when it matters. And when they do, it lands few words. Deep impact. There's a rare kind of power in measured speech. Not the loudest voice, not the fastest speaker, but the one who speaks when it matters. You've probably experienced it before, a single sentence that stays with you, echoing in your mind long after the moment's passed. It's not magic or luck, it's self-awareness. The silently attractive don't fill space with noise. They choose words carefully because they know impact isn't in quantity, but in quality. So here's the question. Are you speaking to be heard or to be felt? Are your words landing like gentle stones in a still pond? Or are they just ripples lost in the rush? Because the truth is, when you speak with presence, people don't just listen, they remember. And finally, the deepest habit of them all, the one that ties every other piece together. 11. They live aligned with their values, not their moods. Integrity is the quietest and loudest form of attractiveness. True magnetism doesn't come from fleeting feelings. Anyone can be kind, patient, or strong when the mood is right. But the silently attractive, they show up the same way even when they don't feel like it. And this is integrity in motion, a quiet commitment to your values, no matter how you feel. It means living with purpose beyond momentary emotions, being steady, grounded in what matters most. It's easy to live for applause, approval, or comfort, but the silently attractive live for something deeper. Their compass doesn't waver with every passing storm. So ask yourself, what do you stand for when no one's watching? When the noise fades, when the applause stops, when you're left with just yourself? Who are you then? This kind of integrity doesn't just build character, it builds an unshakable presence, one that draws others in without effort, because people don't just admire consistency, they feel it and they respect it. And this isn't about perfection, it's about showing up again and again for the person you truly want to be. If you've made it this far, you're my kind of person. This space was made for you. Feel free to hit subscribe if you want more content like this. Tools, ideas, and stories to help you slow down and reconnect. And let me know in the comments, which of these habits do you already carry? Which one do you want to build more deeply? So, what makes someone silently attractive? It's not mystery, not charm, not games. It's peace, it's clarity, it's self-respect. It's being deeply okay in your own skin. In a world that keeps trying to pull you out of it, you don't need to perform. You don't need to chase. You don't need to be louder. You just need to be rooted. Keep watering the quiet parts of you. the stillness, the presence, the values. Because in the end, that's what people feel, even if they can't explain why. And if no one's told you this lately, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be real. Thanks for being here. Until next time, stay grounded.